For the longest time, the oceans and islands of Malaysia have always been the playground for islanders. The current reality sees the ocean fighting for its life, as the main threats come from the nature and humans themselves. Not only has the nature's prolonged global warming caused coral bleaching, but it also affects the creation and sustainability of coral reefs, as they mainly depend on the cleanliness of the surrounding area and the seawater temperature. Plus, the traditional and conventional acts of fishing, particularly within the marine park boundaries, have resulted in long-term damage to the ecosystem. One of the most challenging aspects of marine conservation is to instill the idea and feeling of ownership among the islanders, to care and uphold the sanctity of the marine parks. To ensure the sustainability of the marine environment, the Department of Marine Parks Malaysia is entrusted by the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment to safeguard and monitor that prolonged fishing activities do not harm or cause damage to the marine environment.
Marine parks, as provided in Fisheries Act 1985, there are 42 islands as marine park, and waters between 1 to 2 nautical miles surrounding the island were gazetted as marine park. Marine park waters is very rich in marine biodiversity, including fish. And this marine park provide fish or other organisms to stay, to reproduce, and for their protection. That's why we close this area from fishing, but fishing is still allowed outside this boundary or outside 2 nautical miles.
The villagers have always enjoyed a relaxed, laid-back island lifestyle, including getting an abundance of sea catches every time they venture out into the ocean. Their lifestyle will inevitably be emulated by the younger generations, who see the ocean as their main source of their earnings. Whether they realize it or not, their fishing methods have devastated the marine lives. The livelihood of the corals and other aquatic lives are destroyed, the very platform and the very foundation of marine life that so many depend on. The 2001 Global Diversity Outlook has acknowledged Malaysia as one of the 12 megadiversity countries in the world. As such, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment is sanctioned to lead in sustainable management of natural resources and conservation of environment of the country.
Alternative livelihood is planned for villagers to obtain income from other economy sources which do not harm the natural resources, particularly the marine lives. Now they will be able to generate more income through the program, which indirectly improve their quality of life.
Thus realizing the predicament faced by the villagers, the Ministry of Natural Resources and Environment and Department of Marine Parks Malaysia have initiated some active programs in providing an alternative lifestyle to educate, generate more income, and shift their mindset over the previous life conditions which harm the ocean.
By having this program, for example, we already established a marine in the marine park, what do you call it, economic cooperative association. So through this association, they can start a new business, whether to provide the surrounding area. For example, the yellow noodles or mi kuning, and the breads or roti, they call it in Terengganu the roti pound.
The recent opening of new wreck dive sites made of artificial reefs, like the KM Sipadan wreck dive site, also provides more opportunities for the villagers to become diver guides or dive masters. As this latest wreck dive site in Taman Island is only for advanced divers, this creates more sign-ups for diving courses, inviting an increasing number of tourist arrivals.
I think Livelihood is a long-term program. First, we start with artificial reef, so they can bring more sport fishing to the new fishing ground.
Batu ni kita akan buang kawasan sini juga. Jadi kalau kita tengok juga lah, kalau banyak mana yang batu yang ada tu, memang kita buat ni sebagai tukun ni lah, tukun rekreasi lah. Jadi sekarang benda ni dia 2.3 batu lah, luar kawasan lah, sebagai penduduk Taman juga untuk memancing.
Taking tourists and visitors to go fishing at the artificial and recreational reefs outside the boundaries of the marine parks can indeed generate more income for the villagers. If previously they could only gain around 40 ringgit daily through fishing, now they can take home 400 ringgit daily by taking those who love fishing to the artificial reefs. Indeed, the formation of marine parks is not an obstacle towards the villagers' income. In fact, it actually boosts and generates more economic sources for them.
Kalau orang kampung dulu memang macam ni lah, sebab saya orang kampung. Memang mancing cari laut memang macam ni. Dulu pakai kolek, sekarang pakai speedboat dah moden. Kalau tahun 79, 80 memang mancing macam ni. Joran pun tak ada dulu, tuan.
The Department of Marine Parks Alternative Livelihood Project is jointly undertaken by the United Nations Development Programme, UNDP, funded by the Global Environment Facility, together with the Malaysian government. Among the goals are to ensure the conservation and sustainable use of marine biodiversity in Malaysia and sustainable island development.
The title of the project itself indicates the main purpose is helping Malaysia preserve its marine biodiversity and through that contribute to long-term sustainable development. One of them is smaller businesses in the island to provide sort of support to the tourism industry. That could be in the form of, I think, the mineral water, the Pulau Taman Mineral Water Enterprise, or it could be in the form of bakeries or noodles. I mean, basically the eatery business.
The collaboration between UNDP and DMPM provides some of the key solutions for the betterment of the islander communities, especially in the small and medium-sized enterprises. Taman Island, located in Pahang, has been home to Encik Ishak Muhammad Sohor since he was born. Like his elders, Encik Ishak has built and cultivated his lifestyle around the island, doing all sorts of jobs to make ends meet. Previously, he and his wife have been making and producing yellow noodles the traditional way. Everything was handmade. The yellow noodle enterprise was only home-based, as the process involves making everything from scratch. The traditional process starts with rolling the dough, molding it into shape before flattening it. The dough will then be inserted into a small cutter roller to separate it into sections. After that is done, the noodles are then boiled for preservation. They are finally coated with cooking oil and then left for cooling. The traditional noodle-making business was how Encik Ishak's family lived by.
Bantuan yang diulurkan ni sebenarnya lebih membantu saya. Meski sebelum ini saya memang dengan tolong Pak Kad ni tak mampulah untuk yang kualiti yang banyak. Tapi dengan ada bantuan ni, mudah-mudahan insya-Allah akan lebih berlipat kali ganda lah usaha. Memang dia alu-alukan lah bantuan tu. Bantuan yang saya terima daripada UNDP ialah mesin, swidget mesin, satu kuah periuk rebus dan 1 table, 1 mesin pengadun. 4 jenis lah yang saya terima setakat ini. Permintaan lebih daripada pembuatan sebenarnya. Boleh katakan tinggi lah permintaan. Bukan kampung ni je. Kampung sebelah pun memang ada permintaan tapi cuma tak mampu lagi nak pasang keluar. Memang lebih meningkat lah. Yang manual pun dah 20 kilo satu hari buat. Maknanya kalau saya ingat dalam 3 kali ganda kan insya-Allah akan boleh buat.
Numerous courses and trainings on making bread, pastries and cakes involving the local cooperative members are organised, specifically aimed to improve the women's job skills and livelihood on the islands.
Akak berkecimpung dalam bidang ini sebab dari dulu memang minat. Meskipun kadang-kadang ada permintaan tinggi lah daripada orang ramai kampung ni. So buat roti, buat pau. Masa pergi kursus tu, dia ajar cara-cara asas untuk kenal bahan dia, cara-cara barang, adunan semua. Kalau boleh roti ni maju, di samping tu dapat membantu si rumah tangga yang tak bekerja untuk mendapat pendapatan diorang.
As the establishment of the business plan for cooperative bodies take place, villagers like Encik Norazif Ali Awang can also take part in the initiative.
Pihak UNDP dan juga Taman Laut ini merupakan satu jabatan yang ada kaitan langsung di Pulau Tioman. Jadi mereka ini merupakan Jabatan Taman Laut merupakan kita punya pemandu projek lah. Pemandu projek bagi menubuhkan koperasi dan sebagainya. Kita juga memerlukan khidmat-khidmat jabatan yang boleh membantu. Jadi saya rasa Jabatan Taman Laut memang telah banyak memberi pandangan, kursus dan sebagainya pada koperasi. UNDP sendiri banyak memberi bantuan.
The Taman Water Project was initiated by the Cooperative Council members as drinking waters are often sold at high and inconsistent prices on the island. With assistance and support from United Nations Development Programme and the Department of Marine Parks, the project kicked off in May 2011. Which was met with an overwhelming response.
Kita rasa kita perlu buat benda ni. Peringkat awalnya kita untuk mempromosikan bahawa koperasi ni nak wujudkan air sendiri sebenarnya. Air yang dasar dari Tioman, produk Tioman sendiri kita nak pasarkan untuk pelancong-pelancong. Mungkin jangka masa tu agak panjang sikit, tapi kita punya perancangan kita akan di Tioman sendirilah. Maksudnya kita akan mewujudkan satu kilang air minuman. Kemudian setelah kita berpelatihan lah, kita akan bagi kepada ahli-ahli kita untuk menguruskan air minuman ni.
The success of packing Taman water has prompted the villagers in planning to process drinking water on the island itself, slated to be in the next phase of the project.
Sekarang bila wujudnya koperasi dengan bantuan Jabatan Taman Laut, insya-Allah hasrat kita untuk mewujudkan satu kilang memproses air minuman dan mineral akan terlaksanalah.
The Department of Marine Park Malaysia's alternative livelihood programs have positively affected the current lifestyle of the islanders, reducing their dependency on the ocean and fishing activities. Through the programs, the villagers now have the options to venture into other lines of livelihood, not relying solely on the ocean and its content.
There are 3 broad areas that we will be focusing on. One is what we call inclusive growth, and that includes initiatives to support Malaysia's attempt to become a high-income country by 2020, including how Malaysia can get out of its current middle income trap. Even where there is a community component, as there is in the Marine Parks project, it is really linked to broader policy change and institutional change.
Though it might be seen as a Herculean task, at times we need to push ourselves to go beyond the limits of our survival and change for the better.
Saya sendiri sebagai pengerusi koperasi dan juga ahli lembaga yang lain berhasrat kita majukan Pulau Tioman ini dengan sendirinya, dengan dibantu bekerjasama dengan pihak kerajaan dan jabatan contohnya, tetapi kita mulakan daripada akar umbi. Mana kita hendak masyarakat di sini, apa kemahuan masyarakat di sini nak memajukan Pulau Tioman. Saya rasa Pulau Tioman masih lagi belum terlambatlah untuk dimajukan oleh orang Pulau Tioman itu sendiri. Maknanya koperasi itu sendiri yang boleh memajukan.
This is what the islanders and us need to immerse ourselves in deeper and realize how the ocean has a profound effect on our lives.
For the long term, we will train the villagers for other ventures. For example, as a scuba diving guide or snorkeling guide, and also other activities related with waters. For example, as the operator for a water taxi, for example. So that's our future program.
All in all, the alternative livelihood encourages the villagers to be self-dependent and to be aware of the ocean being in jeopardy.